Hello, this is Colleen Morley for CMSA Chicago. Welcome to CMSA Chicago Member Spotlight, our informational video series by members about members discussing various specialties in case management. Today's video puts the spotlight on Eric Bergman, RN, BA, CCM. Eric is an international case manager with AXA Partners for one of the world's leading travel assistance companies. He provides worldwide travel and assistance for patients struck by sudden illness while abroad and is a chronic disease case manager for expatriates and members of a U.S. government insurance program for Panama Canal workers. He also provides repatriation support using his expertise in both nursing and international travel to safely move ill patients home. After receiving a BA in history from Boston University, Eric worked as a flight attendant and union leader for American Airlines for 27 years. In the early 2000s, Eric made a midlife career change and became a registered nurse. His initial nursing experience was in inpatient hospice and oncology. Eric has served on both the CMSA National and CMSA Chicago Board of Directors and is a frequent national speaker at case management conferences. Eric, thank you so much for taking time out today to join us.
Thanks for having me. This is great.
So we heard a little bit about you in your introduction and bio, but could you tell me a little bit more about yourself, your career path, and what led you to the role that you're in today?
Well, I spent a long time, as you heard in my bio, as a flight attendant. And after 9/11, the travel industry really collapsed. And we took a 30% pay cut to try and keep the airline afloat. And I was a single parent at the time and realized that I really needed to have some kind of backup to support my child and myself and to keep my house. And after a little introspection, I decided that nursing would be a good next step. Surprisingly, nursing and flight attendant have a lot of similar kinds of requirements in terms of the customer service and the interaction with customers and patients. So I went to nursing school. I worked full-time as a flight attendant, was in school full-time. And then when I got out of nursing school, the airline industry was starting to recover and it was too cool a job to give up. So I was still a full-time flight attendant. I was a full-time nurse, which is another thing that's so cool about being a nurse. You can work those 12-hour shifts and put anything together. After I'd been a nurse for about 5 years, I was talking with a friend of mine who kept telling me, you got to talk to my sister because she has this job that you would be perfect for. And I kept telling him, I don't need a third job. But finally I gave in. I talked to Nancy and she explained how they were looking for people to be patient escorts for injured people who were away from home and to assist them home on commercial flights. And obviously between flight attendant and nursing, I was a perfect fit. And so I started to do that. So for a while I had 3 jobs. And at the point that I was enjoying the travel so much that I was tempted to call in sick at the hospital instead of using my days off, I thought the only ethical thing to do would be find a proper full-time position. And fortunately, AXA was looking for a full-time case manager in their office. So I left the hospital and joined AXA, and it was a terrific move. So the work at AXA now is on the phone, telephonic case management. When somebody's on vacation and they have a heart attack, they have a stroke, they have an automobile accident, the case managers here in Chicago will call the hospital, talk with the doctors, evaluate the care, evaluate what level of care the patients are going to need and whether the hospital can provide it. And then we work hard to either manage them to a stability that they can travel home or immediately evacuate them to some place that can manage them depending on where they are. So my work is to do that level of case management, the discharge planning and the travel planning, and then I get to go and be an escort some of the time too, which is way cool.
So you told us quite a bit about the job, but what does a workday look like for you?
Well, we're a 24/7 operation because we manage 300 or so different contracts. We're a third-party administrator for different insurance contracts. So our clients are all around the globe. We're calling Asia, we're calling Europe, we're calling the Caribbean, to follow up on our patients and arrange the travel. So I've been fortunate in my old age to be able to hold the day shift. So mostly I'm calling to the US, Canada, Mexico, South America, and the Caribbean. The night shift team is usually calling Asia. They do a lot of work in Europe. But I start early enough in the day that I can call Europe too. So that's, the day is managing whatever the caseload is. We manage it as a team, and maintain the flow and know when people are getting ready to travel and start arranging the travel. And then, we have some interaction with the patients, which is cool. We have to know about them and their home situation. We have to know their family to know what kind of support they're going to have when we actually get them home. And frequently, they're in places where the medical care is so different than what they're used to that they need some hand-holding and the typical kind of case management. Explain this crazy stuff that the doctor just told me. Why are they telling me that I have to do this and I have to do that? So we do a good deal of that kind of intervention, and also a similar kind of intervention with the family. It can be really frightening when your parent has had a stroke far away and you can't go to be at the bedside. And we're kind of that bridge, and we get the medical updates, we talk to the patients, and then we talk to the family to try and put them at ease, and assure them that, we're going to get their loved one home safely. And that really is my favorite part of the job, the actual patient and family interaction.
So that segues it perfectly into the next question. What exactly do you enjoy most about the work that you do? What are the biggest rewards that you find in your field?
Well, really, it's that patient connection. It's that human to human connection that I get to make. And I've recently been moved into a new product that AXA has been working on. We have a chronic disease case management program for some of our big clients that have not only travel plans, but they have plans for expatriates. So people who have moved for one reason or another, family or job, and they're away from their country of residence, but they're still insured, say, with their British insurance company. And we have set up a program to help manage people with diabetes or congestive heart failure and help them to maintain their their medications, their understanding of their disease process, so that they don't end up in crisis. And through that process, we'll build, 6, 8, 10-month relationships with people and see them through some crisis. We usually find them because there's been a crisis, and we get them stabilized and help them working on managing their own care. And to me, those relationships are really the best part of being a case manager. The thing about being a nurse is, full well when you get done with a day that you've done something. Maybe it's a little something, maybe it's a big something, but you've made somebody's life better. And it's that interpersonal relationship that brings those opportunities.
So is there something that surprised you about the role when you first started? Anything just come out of the blue and go, wow, I didn't realize I'd be doing that here?
Well, case management. They hired me as a nurse, and I didn't really understand what case management was. And I got in there and they told me, I think probably on the second day, oh, by the way, within the first 2 years, you're supposed to be a certified case manager. And I said, well, what's that and how do I do it? And my supervisor said to me, well, I got my certification, but I really can't explain it. And I just did it because they wanted me to have it. And now we need to get the whole department to do this because we are case managers. And I said, well, what's different from being a nurse than being a case manager? And she said, well, I really don't know. Can you figure that out, please? So that's when I started trying to figure out how it all worked. And that's how I met CMSA, and learned about case management. So that was my big surprise.
So what skills do you think are most important for somebody who's interested in a job like yours?
Well, my particular job is all about building relationship on the phone. You have to be a remarkable listener to do the kind of work I do. you don't have visual clues, you don't have body language. You only have what you can hear over the telephone. Most of our clients are places where even if they did have the ability to do video conferencing, there's probably not infrastructure uh, strong enough to support a good video call. And so my job is all about that careful listening to the tone, what you might pick up in the background, and trying to ferret out what's not said, and being good at that that interview, asking the leading questions, and probing a little bit in ways that allow people to open up. The other thing that you have to know in my job is you have to have a really good sense of geography. You got to know where people are and what things are and which country is what. And you have to have a love of that kind of international mindset.
Definitely. And the love of travel wouldn't hurt either, right?
Well, yeah, if you want it, the nice thing about my job is that the travel part is extra. It's all gravy on top. I'm not allowed to travel if it's going to interfere with my regular scheduled days. So we all work together as a team to trade like mad with each other. So when you travel, it's bonus money and it's paid nicely.
Mhm.
But if you didn't want to do it, I actually have a colleague who doesn't like the travel and doesn't do the travel. So you could do my job and not travel. But to me, what's the point?
Exactly. So what are some big projects that you're working on now or that you finished up in the last few months?
Well, the biggest project we have now is that we just sold our chronic disease case management product to a new customer. And we're getting that up and running. And I'm involved to a degree in building the caseload and supporting that. We're also in the process of shifting our case management charting and data storage to a new system. And I'm playing a big role in that, computer technology kind of aspect of it, and figuring out what kind of protocols we're going to need to use to build the new software. We don't use a standard case management product for doing the case management. We've done it all built in-house. So it's kind of challenging. Some days it's incredibly frustrating, but it's also a lot of fun to get to do that kind of nuts and bolts piece of it too.
And Eric, my last question to you, and given your involvement in CMSA National and CMSA Chicago, how has being a member of CMSA and CMSA Chicago benefited you and your career?
It's changed my life. Um, as I said, I didn't even know what case management was. It was a several week adventure of Googling just to try and figure out what the organizations were that could explain to me what case management was. But from the minute I walked into my first meeting at CMSA, I knew that I'd found the right spot. People were inviting and welcoming, and were very happy to take me under their wing and be my mentor. And then the opportunity to work with the local board was really interesting. I made some great friendships, and I had some ideas about where we could go, and it was very rewarding to have my ideas recognized to the point where people asked me to take a leadership role and to try and move things along. And I've been so excited to transform and build our chapter, and spill that out to the national organization. It's been a surprising change to where I thought my career might go, to the point that, the things that I'm doing within CMSA have really led me to consider what I could do in a role as a consultant or a public speaker, and getting to present at conferences. It's just fabulous to have things that I want to talk about and have a ready audience that's excited to hear about it and talk to me about it and provide me with a platform to get up and do it. It just couldn't be better. And then working with you and writing books, turning books out, it's just, it just goes on and on. And it's the epitome of what I think a professional organization should be for somebody's career. And to be able to have taken this just in 5 or 6 years and turn it into something that has really built me into quite a professional case manager. I wouldn't be where I am right now if it hadn't been for my involvement with CMSA.
Thank you very much, Eric. This has been, you and I have known each other for about 5 years now, and this has been an incredible opportunity to get to know you a little bit more, and for our members and potential members to get to know who the members of CMSA are. And that's what this whole project is about, is members talking about what we do, how we do it, and wanting to get people together in a networking type of a concept. So thank you very, very much for your time on this wonderful weekend day. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
I hope we can inspire a few more members to reach out and let us
I,
know how their career is growing.
I absolutely agree. Thank you so much for your time today, Eric.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.